think we talked about some receivers before we went live. So is that kind of where we're heading to next?
Yeah, I was going next. I was gonna do Otto Demola Johnny, but we kind of talked about him. He was my other breakout on the offensive line. I do want to talk about wide receiver because I picked LeBron Bond before the news of Tyler Morris being out for the year, which absolutely sucks. But I do think, you would have to think they're going to add someone.
Yeah.
But
based
LeBron
on depth,
Bond, right? Depth alone, essentially. Yeah, I agree. But LeBron Bond was a guy that he's a pure slot. So if that's the guy, does he get some snaps? Usually wide receivers, you can kind of work those guys in. I think when they're freshmen, doesn't really need. It's not like they need to get bigger, especially a guy that is like a jitterbug type. Like what is he? He's 5'9".
He's going to be small.
5'9", 175. Yeah, 175 listed at 5'9", 175. Like that's just what he is. And he also got number 6. That usually means like, I don't know. I thought that meant he'd be
Kendrick
like
did get 82,
right up there.
and he got 6.
Who did?
Miles Kendrick, the other true freshman.
Oh yeah, true.
The only 2 slots on our roster.
Yeah, and we haven't talked about Mekhi Jackson. I don't know what to think about that because like he played. Mekhi Jackson was at App State, and he played with Surratt at St. Francis before, but he was basically strictly an outside guy after being kind of an inside guy at St. Francis, from what I've read. So does he move down to slot? He's like 6 foot 200. He's not like that. But then, is it Omar Cooper? We talked about that off there as well. It could be.
I'm kind of a receiver guy, just as a background, Jamie. I played the position, not like at a high level, but I played the position. I know how it works. And seeing how they kind of ran the routes tree last year, I see Mekhi Jackson. He's a big yak guy. That's what really jumped off the page. So think Sean Williams bubble screens. Think those types of packages. I think he can play inside out. I think that's what makes him very versatile. What's great about, in terms of, we're talking breakout guy, it's time to talk about EJ Williams. He's everywhere on these clips, and it's at a point where it's like, okay, we don't have a slot guy. We're probably going to bring someone in, but even then, do we just go 3-headed monster, Surratt, Coop, and EJ, and kind of just mix them around and have the full route tree? They can, that sometimes Surratt's and they all 3 can kind of run slot routes at that point, and kind of just mix them around, make them get the matchups that you want. Could be a good way of going about things in terms of replacing Tyler Morris.
Well, and it's getting the best players on the field that you can. Yeah. I'm an unabashed EJ Williams fan. He's retweeted me a couple times. He seems like a kid that like actually wants to he wants to be at IU. I don't think that they would have let him back. Signetti doesn't strike me as a person that's going to let someone back if he doesn't think that the guy actually wants to play here. And I think that Williams, he showed, with Brendan Sorsby, I bring this up all the time. I don't have it right in front of me, but he was awesome at the last 4 games when he was finally healthy with Brendan Sorsby. And then all of a sudden last year he wasn't healthy again. So it's like, he had that one huge play at Northwestern, which in my opinion was actually like a crucial play in the game. It was right before half. It was like a deep 40-yard pass down the sideline where he like reacted in the air, and he's 6'4". And I think they ended up getting a huge field goal, which kept them up 10, I believe, in the game, which people don't realize that game was actually a little bit tiher than
they couldn't do anything with what's his name running around the backfield. It was actually
crazy. They didn't know how to stop. Once they started making him like it was that they had to make him. What was his name? Sullivan? Well, I can't remember the quarterback.
I can't remember his name. Start with an
Northwestern.
Yeah, what was his?
Mac Lausch, the man, the
Lausch. Yeah. Lausch. Sorry, yeah.
They had to keep him in the pocket. They couldn't keep him in the pocket.
He's man.
He was unstoppable. When they started testing him, being like, "You need to throw on us.
Yeah,
we're just gonna let you. We're not gonna let you run. We're gonna
close up these rush lanes. Like let's
right." But I was just saying that that game was a little bit closer. EJ Williams makes a huge play down the sideline. They get a field goal. So I'm a huge fan of EJ Williams. He averaged like 60 yards and 5 catches a game in his last 4 games or 5 games in the Big Ten with Brendan Sorsby. I like Sorsby. I was a fan of Sorsby, but I think that Fernando Mendoza is just better than Sorsby.
Yeah, he is. So Sorsby's good. He had a good year.
Yeah. Sorsby's legit.
I like.
He's
Sorsby.
legit. I really like Sorsby.
Yeah, Mendoza's more of the NFL prototype. Sorsby's
totally
solid
agree.
college player.
Totally agree.
Just different vibes.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they do. I would not be shocked if they add at least one wide receiver to the room coming up here in the next little bit, which I'm sure they're probably already doing because there's already people that have committed and the portal hasn't even opened yet. So last guy I had was Lee Beebe, running back. I didn't pick a quarterback because it's one of the Mendozas.
Real quick, before we jump away from receiver, I know Davion Chandler isn't on campus yet, but he's going to absolutely factor in this year. And then I did just briefly want to talk about Omar Cooper because he was pictured in the slot either today or yesterday. I think that is huge in terms of like his game. There's a little bit of a conversation going on in the chat about whether or not Sig called out Cooper and kind of all that stuff. Like it wouldn't be the first time he's called out Omar Cooper, either Sig or Shanahan. But that's somebody who they're really going to need this year. That would be like an absolute stunner if he left. I wouldn't even be worried about that in the slightest. But that's a guy who can increase his NFL draft stock by adding versatility. And I believe his skill set actually plays really well in the slot. He's tough with the ball. He's not afraid to go over the middle, makes really strong catches. So I'm really excited to see Cooper in kind of an expanded role. And like Brad said, that three-headed monster, I think EJ Williams is he's just going to have to play. And so you want to have your best three guys out on the field at all times. And I think those are your guys.
Yeah.
And Charlie Becker will factor this year.
I agree. But they're also going to have to, they're going to play a tight end, I think, on every snap. So I think it's going to be, you're right. I think it's going to be Cooper, unless they get somebody that I don't know, I guess, that we don't know yet that's going to play slot. It's going to be Cooper right now. As of right now, it's going to be Cooper. Yeah. I just don't, even though Bond's in camp, I just don't, there's no way they're going to let a true freshman start right away.
It's hard to imagine Signetti's going
to having Bond in there and then EJ Williams is just sitting there on the sideline. Like that just feels a little. I think that would it's just we're doing too much. We don't have to. We can be positionless here. I think.
Yeah, we don't have to. It's maybe not overthink this and just have the best guys out in the field. That's not to say that those guys aren't going to factor in. This offense predicates itself on playing 6, 7, 8 receivers. They spread the ball around. Like part of the charm of it is almost like you don't know where the ball is going, and that's how you can get hurt. But no, again, like we've just been saying, sometimes it's just easier. Like just play your best guys.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find this here. I wrote about this quickly. I'm not sure if I can find it, but they have to replace like 1,000 yards. I mean, it's coming from somewhere. I mean, Miles Cross left. Keyshawn Williams was awesome. He's gone. They need to replace
Horton.
Horton is another guy, but I mean, it's literally like 1,500 yards or something that they need to replace. Oh, Miles Price as well. I mean, then they needed to replace a lot of production. And that's where like you need to have guys like EJ Williams that come back. I think Cooper's going to have a huge year. We'll see what happens after this. We'll see what happens when the portal opens, what they decide to do here. But I guess that'll kind of tell us where they're at. I can't know we keep saying that, but that's kind of what.
Yeah, without being able to see the spring game, it's like it's the only thing we can do.
Right.
So
go ahead.
As is right now, I'd say the receiver room at Indiana is the best kept secret in the Big Ten. I'm just going to go
100% agree.
I don't think people are aware. I think people know Surratt's good. I don't think they know how good he is. I think people maybe have heard of Cooper or not. They don't realize he's an all-conference guy. I don't think they've even heard of EJ Williams. And then just the depth beyond, like Mekhi Jackson's he's going to make plays this year. He just is. If anything Becker does, I think is just gravy, and Chandler, anything they do is gravy. And then we'll see what we do if we do even bring in a slot at this point. Like as is, we look pretty good, but there is that Knight guy from JMU who is a clear slot 5'8" experience.
I'm glad you brought him up because I think that happened today.
Recruit. Yeah, he hit the portal. That looks like a guy that you bring him in, and we could still at that point, talent level wise, still go with that 3-headed monster, and then Knight.
Because he plays that Miles Cross position. Miles, Keyshawn Williams, like those guys kind of were interchangeable last year. Yeah. So I agree. I mean, and just again, I only went to one game last year, so it's hard to but when you're at the games, you see like. You obviously you can see how many snaps they get, but it is interesting, like the hierarchy. Like last year, I liked Anderson Kobe. He was a deep threat, but like this year they have they just have really good players that are that can come in that are like also deep threats and also can play the position. I mean,
run the full route tree guys.
Right, exactly.
Complete route tree guys.
Kobe was like the deep threat. That's kind of it guy. I think that.
Yeah, he came in. You knew exactly what he was doing. He was running straight at the goalpost.
Every single time he was running, a post or just going, just getting in the ball deep. So yeah, I'm excited about the position. We'll see what they do moving forward this portal season. There.